I experienced a very dramatic loss, which was
Yeah.
the stillbirth
Okay.
of my third child. And there was a lot of holding off me on a mystical level. Um, what I would say is, when you lose somebody very close to you,
Take a moment.
it brings you into an inner space, into a very deep, deep inner space in your being. And there was something about being in the embrace of this area, this landscape that really, really held me. That really, it's like a type of a medicine for your soul. Just the love and the nurturing from the Sperrins, that mother energy, and maybe there's something within me that I had all this love from the loss of my child that I couldn't protect, that I
Mhm.
couldn't, that had been taken from me.
Mhm.
That there's something about that type of love that's implanted. It's very hard to put this into words. There's something about the scale of that love that's implanted within ourselves. So whenever it was in danger, it was actually, we do find our voice.
Welcome to the Save Our Sperrins campaign, Voices from the Frontline. I'm Morella Fife, your host and a member of the Save Our Sperrins team. At the heart of this struggle are the voices of local people, farmers, families and young campaigners whose homes, work and families are rooted in this place. Their voices are joined by supporters from across the world, standing in solidarity, from professors to artists, from those offering vast expertise to those whose presence alone is an act of support. All have stood with us. In this series, we share stories of resistance, resilience, and hopes from those determined to protect these mountains, their land, their rivers, the very air they breathe, and their community. Let's get started. Today, I'm speaking with Kerry McCrory, founder of Solence, Northern Ireland, a holistic therapy practice rooted in the heart of the Sperrins. Kerry lives in the hills near Coneyglen, in a valley already marked as an area of outstanding natural beauty, yet now threatened by both gold mining and large-scale industrial wind farm developments. Through her work as a healer and therapist, Kerry spent years helping people reconnect with their inner balance and the natural world. But increasingly, her calling to care for human well-being has become inseparable from her care for the land itself. In this conversation, we explore how personal healing and planetary healing are intertwined, how standing for the land is as much a spiritual act as it is a political one, and what it means to live day to day in a place caught between the promise of progress and the quiet endurance of the mountains. Let's get started. Good morning, Kerry, and welcome to the podcast. And thank you for joining with me this morning. And let's get stuck in and say, could you start by painting a picture for me of the place where you live, the valley, the whole landscape, and what's your daily rhythm of life like there? And what makes this part of Sperrins so special for you?
Okay. Thank you. I want to say thank you, Morella, for asking me to this podcast. And I want to say thank you, Morella, that I see you, and that many years ago, whenever you give up a position in your local newspaper to actually be of service to the love of the land, I really saw you and I value what you're doing so much. I want to say that to you.
Oh, thank you, Kerry. That's brought sort of tears to my eyes. Yeah, and then not many people realised that at that time. But thank you, Kerry. Appreciate it. Yeah.
So where I am based in the actual Sperrins, where I am based is very the central Sperrins. There would be 3 valleys clustered together. So if you were on a certain mountain in the valley, you would see in a line, you would see Coneyglen Valley, you would see Glen Lark, and you would also see the Glenelly Valley. And
Okay.
behind that, you would have situated Dart and Sowell Mountains, and they would be the highest peaks
Okay.
of the Sperrins. So, on a visual level, you are actually in the very heart, the very center of the wild and rugged Sperrins. And you're in an area that has maintained this ambience for, I'm not going to say centuries, for millennia. That is the type of place that you are encapsulated in when you visit or stand in the area, this area of the Sperrins.
Oh wow! And when you open your door or you open your blinds in the morning and you look out, what do you see, or even what do you feel?
It's just so beautiful that you say that, because like I would be very conscious every day whenever I do open my blinds of where I am, where there is an ancient stone pillar on a mountain to the right hand side of me,
Okay.
and then the river coming through the valley. And this morning whenever I opened my curtains, it was like, oh my God, I'm being blessed with this vision. It was actually totally and utterly, it was like another land, another place. It was like covered in mist. And the way the sun was coming through this mist and blazing down the valley. And like my thoughts about this was like I'd never seen nothing like this. And here I am living in this place for 17, 18 years now. And it's like, that's what's so beautiful about it, that each and every day when you connect in with it, it's like it's gifting you with, oh my God, it's like a magic. It's gifting you with the way I'm going to put it to you is, you can see, like when they would have talked about the tooth of the Danann, that them ancient beings, them ancient people, they picked this landscape apparently because it changed.
Right.
It brought a magic with it, that all the
Okay.
seasons, it was so different. It was so, and I feel that with this place.
Yeah.
Really beautiful.
That's just a wonderful description and picture that you've painted for us there, Kerry. And what a great way to start our chat this morning.
Mm.
Um,
And I'll just mention quickly, if anybody is more interested to see visually what this type of landscape is, I have a wee Facebook page
yeah.
called Coneyglen. And
Oh, brilliant.
yeah, and I have just been posting pictures on it for the last decade more. And it really speaks, because it's very hard to it's hard to give that to people, but the pictures can very easily.
Paints 1,000 words.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's great. I must look it up, and what I'll do is I'll put a link in the show notes to the Facebook page as well.
Yeah. There's a wee hawthorn tree on it, so you'll know it when you see it.
Oh, of course.
Well,
um, moving on slightly, I know you have a business called Solance Northern Ireland. Am I pronouncing that correctly?
eh, yes, so Solon saying I.
Solance and I, yeah.
Mhm.
Um, where you weave together therapies like aromatherapy and reflexology and colour care. All centered on well-being and connection. Um, can you tell us a little bit how Solance began and the values that underpin your work?
Um, Solon's would have been gone. I had a business in Oma for 13 years called Serene Retreat Holistic Health and Beauty Salon. And it was like the events started to happen around that business where it became very noisy and difficult to maintain a certain ambience. So
Yeah.
with myself, I sort of felt pushed out, sort of like it was like what I realize now is the universe was pushing me deeper into another lane of work.
Uh-huh.
And I remember whenever I would have worked within the old business, I had this feeling about something about colour therapy that
Uh-huh.
it was just in the background. But then I had experiences whenever I actually closed my business. I thought for a while I'd be going into more energetic work. And I thought for a while I'd be working with crystals. And that within itself is interesting because crystals are like the stones,
Mm-hmm.
like the harmonic energy on a very ancient level of art that
Uh-huh.
that has been infused. And then events happened. I'll keep this quick. Events happened where I was actually introduced to colour therapy.
Okay.
And I realised, this is my avenue. But what's interesting about it, the colour that I work with, it's contained in glass bottles. And
Okay.
these bottles are called equilibrium bottles.
Okay.
And they actually have within them the earth energies. And whenever I say that to you, what they actually have is they have the essence of crystals in them. They have the water in them, and the water that's in them would actually come from the depths of the earth from the chalice well in
Okay.
Glastonbury. And what they would also have is essential oils and herbal extracts. So they're
Okay.
like water on an oil base. And
Yeah.
they are like an infusion of what the earth energies also like they're the infusion of the elements, to create all of the different substances that are in the bottles. There's been a relationship with the
Mhm.
elements. And
Uh-huh.
it's sort of like you can have an experience with the colour and the elements and what is resonating and going on within your auric field because you're also receiving the elements by living on the earth.
Yeah.
Sometimes we're receiving them via our food, what we eat,
Uh-huh.
what we drink, what's growing. It's
Uh-huh.
so it's like something that can help you understand and balance what is going on within yourself on a very intimate level, which is very unique to yourself.
Wow.
You'll be coming for one of those.
Yeah, why not? For sure.
Uh,
Um, so your approach to healing is really based in the landscape around you, you could say.
yes, because it's sort of like, say when I had my other business on a more materialistic level, I used to think, oh, maybe I'll have a spa. And, and in the back of my head, I remember having, if I had therapy rooms, they'd be named after the elements, fire, earth, water, do.
Yeah.
It's sort of like the universe took that, turned everything on its head, and actually it is on a very intimate level that I appreciate and be with those elements. And it's not on a level of control. It's on a level of, oh my God, deep love and appreciation,
Yeah.
not taking it for granted. It's just it's so nurturing to us how Mother Earth, like, I'm going to say it, like Mother Earth, she does everything for us. She protects us. She feeds us. She holds us. She does all these things on such a deep, intense level. And like, we have been blinded. We have been blinded we're sort of living in boxes and rooms, and our relationship, not knowing of all this, not only the earth energy, but the cosmic energy that is going on around us.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm going to say about the Sperrins as well. Years ago, I worked with a community group that helped to protect our areas against major industrialisation. And that became their work. But before they were propelled into that work, they would have been working to bring acknowledgement of the dark sky in the Sperrins. And that...
Can you say a little bit more about the dark sky in the Sperrins?
Well, the dark sky is no light pollution.
Okay.
It's where we are in relationship with what's going on in the cosmic realms and in the skies without light pollution, where the clarity of the stars, the clarity of what is happening with the equinoxes, the longest day, the shortest day, where we as human beings have direct, especially visual, because light pollution is, it breaks my heart that there's so many people on the earth who cannot see the sky.
Yeah, cannot see the stars, yeah.
Uh-huh. So like what I would say to you about the dark sky as well is, like, when you're in the mountains of the Sperrins, like it's very hard for me to give people the power of the feeling of whenever you watch, like, the morning star Venus rising, and it seems so close, like it's on top of you.
Yeah.
And the moon, it's sort of like there's like this unique and very special dance with the dark skies that can be done in the mountains as well as the vast open areas. It's it's something that you think about it, like our ancient ancestors, the stone circles, our whole way of life and being was built around what was happening.
The night sky, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
And we were in deep relationship.
That's right.
With our harvests and the growth patterns and the moon.
And the moon, yeah. The moon, predominantly more than the sun, was really what created our civilization, the movements of the moon. Which is, we think it's the sun, but it's actually the movements of the moon. It's so interesting, isn't it?
It is. and the thing is, when you come to the Sperrins and you stand in these ancient sites, that wisdom is still infused somewhere on a cellular level within our being. That is handed down to us as a gift from our ancestors, and you will feel it. And this is why it is so, so important that these areas are preserved.
Yeah.
That they're
our direct connection to our ancestors, and it's the wisdom and knowledge of that direct connection which will guide us and the web of life going forward, and it's vital.
And it feels like light portals, Morella, like I feel that about Ireland as an island Eru, I feel that, like it's like a light portal. And I've done, through, as well as doing the therapy, I did a wee bit of, it became sort of like a wee hobby, a wee bit of Airbnb. And I had people from all over the world. So they could have been from Australia, from Belgium, from the Americas, all over the world staying here. I've had, a good few times, people have actually visually, or orally, they've spoken and said to me, that, like, one particular person, I didn't think too much. And then when I come into, within, say, like a 6-mile radius of the mountains, you can feel the energy change.
Yeah, yeah.
And people feel it.
Yeah.
They really do.
There's a visceral, it's within them. They know it's there. Kerry, at what point did your work of caring for people sort of radiate out to become caring for the land itself. What was it that had you speak out against what's happening in the Sperrins?
My relationship with the Sperrins on a personal level is very, very deep. And whenever we were building this house that we live in, I experienced a very dramatic loss, which was
Okay.
the stillbirth
Okay.
of my third child. And there was a lot of holding off me on a mystical level. What I would say is, when you lose somebody very close to you,
Take a moment.
it brings you into an inner space, into a very deep, deep inner space in your being. And there was something about being in the embrace of this area, this landscape that really, really held me. That really, it's like a type of a medicine for your soul. And what actually happened, I didn't realize that there was other things that happened in this glen. Like, for instance, I remember going for a walk and feeling like I was being pushed into the side of the glen when I was walking around it, and I couldn't understand it. And a couple of minutes later, like, a fast vehicle come running round the glen at high speed, and I remember, like, feeling protected. Like there was something that was protecting me. And like, it's it's very it's hard to explain this to people, but like, there's a part of me that feels like this glen waited for me.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason that I think that that is there is that I see the glen, I feel the glen, and I really feel the beauty of this place. Like, I really get it. And then whenever, back in 2014, whenever life had been so busy, and the way you never have time. And I remember hearing rumours about a wind farm going up in the area. But to me, they were just rumours, because it took us years and years to get planning permission here
Mm-hmm.
because of the beauty of the place, the
Yeah.
AOME status and all. And I remember going into a local hotel in Oma. And what actually happened was, whenever I realised oh my God, when I realised the plans that were in process for this area, the only way I can explain it to you, Morella, is like, all of a sudden, I wasn't in the hotel room. I was in this glen.
Okay.
And it was like the monstrosities of what was being proposed, these wind turbines, in it, the reality of it sunk in. And I remember in that place, the tears just started. So it was a feeling level.
Okay.
The tears just started dripping down my face. I had to excuse myself, go, and it really hit me hard. And there's something about, like there's something within me, like that, just the love and the nurturing from the Sperrins, that mother energy. And maybe there's something within me that I had all this love from the loss of my child that I couldn't protect, that I
Mm-hmm.
couldn't, that had been taken from me.
Mm-hmm.
That there's something about that type of love that's implanted it's very hard to put this into words. There's something about the scale of that love that's implanted within ourselves. So whenever it was in danger, it was actually, we do find our voice.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
Kerry, what a beautiful sharing, and what courage it took for you to bring that voice to the fore based on the love within. Or perhaps it didn't take courage, perhaps the courage came along with the love, but somehow that loss has become, perhaps for you, something where the mountains were calling for you, perhaps, or Mother Earth was calling for you.
Or I really feel that. And it's interesting you say that, Morella, because I remember years ago, like after the loss, my sister shared a dream with me. And when she shared the dream with me, she said that I was standing on top of a mountain and I was holding my baby into my heart, and the wind was running through me. And I remember when my sister shared that, like it was like medicine for me. And it went into my heart. But in a roundabout way, Morella, because she shared that dream with me, years later, I ended up being called to do the Peru Inca Trail in 2017.
Mm-hmm.
And that was connected to the seed, something to do with the seed and her sharing that dream. And whenever I went to the Inca Trail in Peru, like the landscape of the Inca Trail, like the beauty, the healing that I received unexpectedly. Like I had some healing in that place, which
Uh-huh.
actually it physically brought me to my knees, and I was howling like a wild wolf with the grief.
Mm-hmm.
But like I, for some reason, was called to that place and that couldn't be released. Now, the baby I lost, Liam, he would have been about 11 at this stage had he been living.
Mm-hmm.
And this come out of my being. But our landscapes in Ireland, like where we live here, the hollows in the hills, this is Liggins Road, and Liggins means hollows in the hills. And within this place here, like, you wouldn't believe it till you see it. Like, this place hits me in mind of Peru. And even though their mountains are so huge and
Yeah.
tumbling into the sky,
Yeah.
this is the reminder of how ancient our Sperrins are. Our Sperrins are now, they've been that high and they are on their way down.
Yeah.
And this is what makes them so unique and beautiful, so curvaceous, so soft, so unique. But that energy is, that healing is here as well for people.
Yeah. Kerry, your way of seeing the land and the landscape differs totally and entirely from the way others might view the landscape. And many people outside the Sperrins possibly don't realise that the Sperrins are facing more than one type of industrialization, both the proposed gold mine and extensive wind farm development. Do you think these kind of projects come from a certain way of seeing the land as something to be used or managed rather than something to be in relationship with?
I would say that the world we have lived in has shut us down, that everything has become materialistic. And, that was a big, massive journey for myself, to get caught up in the materialistic. And, really, when we first built our house here, it was, a bigger house, you know, if,
Yeah.
if, if I'm honest, that's what it was.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
whenever them events happened, with the loss of Liam, the day the windows were being put into our home,
Mm-hmm.
and the appearance of the rainbow, which became so humongous, the very visual effect of it gave me different eyes. And
Okay.
I feel like the world has, and it's not really our fault. We've been part of a cycle.
Yeah.
Like, I suppose we have to remember people went through times of great hardship. Here I am living in the Sperrins and I have a lot of comforts, but there will be people who lived in the Sperrins and they were starving. They didn't
Yeah.
have the comforts that we have, that even to get their water,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And I think, what I would say to me, when I reflect on things like everything changed in the industrial age,
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
that
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
that was a big part of it. And, that then because of things happening, we lost so many people to emigration,
Uh-huh.
to
Famine.
yeah. And
Yeah.
also what I would say is that that relationship with the masculine and feminine may have been put out of balance as well. That whenever you come into the mountains of any area, you're in a farming community. And years ago, a lot of the sons that inherited would have lived with their their mother, and maybe they didn't want to have two women in the house, so they were much older, or a lot of them didn't ever marry.
Mm-hmm.
And so the landscapes weren't they weren't perhaps going into hands that had a relationship with them, with
Okay.
the land.
Yeah.
But the people that have relationship with the land are the ones that get up and feed from it and work on it and be in it. They
Yeah.
are the true custodians. They are the like I feel in a way the land needs us as much as we need the land as well.
Uh-huh.
There's that relationship. Like, I feel that's a big part of my being in the Sperrins. When I say the Glen waited for me, it's simply that I love it. I see it. And I really believe that if we walk past a flower or a tree and the love is felt, but materialism has blocked that relationship from us
Mm-hmm.
on the earth. And like children know that blocks of gold in the bank vaults, that's not going to feed us. That's not a relationship with the earth.
Yeah.
But it's to me, it's like we've just become out of harmony with what is really important, and it's been part of a cycle. But life has a way of, for each and every one of us, none of us get away with it, of I'm going to say bringing us back down to earth, into our feet,
Yeah.
realizing what's important.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
all of a sudden, if we don't have sparkling, pristine, clean water, if we can't breathe, like, just look at the news and the people going around in certain cities with masks.
Yeah.
Like materialism to that level is nothing. And that this was the thing about the wind turbines, like that is so short term to me. We need to think of the long term.
Yeah.
That and also the animals, the species. This is their home.
Yeah.
We can't be robbing it all for our material gain, and or it's not viable. And now it's come to our own landscape. Like so many landscapes, parts of China, parts of Spain, as well as South America. Like they have like dead deserts.
Mm-hmm.
And like I feel, when it comes to like Ireland, we are so tiny. Like
Yeah.
we are hardly a state in America.
Yeah.
And like once the waters are poisoned, that's the whole island. That's it dead.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, so many big questions. Um, I feel that people who propose these energy projects, these extractivism projects, and who live in the realm of the next dollar and how much it will earn me and how much it will earn my shareholders and how wealthy I will be, and isn't progress great?
It's really
Perhaps
regress, isn't it?
it is, yeah,
Regress, it's
and
regress.
perhaps have never had any type of relationship with the earth in any shape or form. So there's that disconnect, and therefore earth is seen as a commodity. Um, and then, as we all know, there's only one earth, and elements of that commodity begin to be impacted badly. So the air we breathe, the water we drink, and the soil where we grow our food, and becomes poisoned, not necessarily immediately, but definitely cumulatively over time. Sometimes attention is created in community because of mining and wind farm projects. Have you seen a change in the way people see one another because of these projects in the Sperrins?
How they see one another,
Yeah,
people.
yeah. Or how they relate to each other. Has that been your experience?
I can only speak from my own experience, and there's a level of me where I feel, because of the threats and the proposals, that was actually in a roundabout way able to bring us together.
Okay.
I,
Yep.
I feel like, um, to be honest, I was in my own wee world, busy seeing, and I think this is how we live on the earth, seeing till our own bills and our own wee nest, and that was it. It was only actually when that happened, about the wind farm proposal, when I got involved, would have been about 2014, but there was
Mhm.
others working with it a few years before that.
Mhm.
And like, I feel like, to be honest, Morella, I would have never knew my community or got to know them only for. So this, in a roundabout way, it was the love of the land bringing us together.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and it it um it became hard work.
Yeah.
And that went on. It was refused in 2020.
Yeah.
I seen the power in people who give their time, their energy, their life force energy to protecting. And maybe not everybody is on the same wave level, and that is difficult. But at the same time, I've done enough work on myself to know that everybody's in their own story, their own picture of what life is. Yeah.
So people with different position to you, a different viewpoint to you,
Hmm.
how do we move people positionally from one position to possibility?
I think people that really love the land, you know, really feed into that. Really feed into your love of the Sperrins. I believe, like, this is what I personally believe. If we come in with a level that we're going to fight, we will be fighting. That energy escalates. So I would have always had, like, we'll protect. But also, if we can bring in the energy of what we love, that will escalate and become more as well. So you know, we can't go into an individual person or company, or we can't really change anybody. That has to
Right.
come from within. But we can highlight and expand on what we love. And the more we do that, and do it as a collective in our own community, that ripples out. That, you mightn't think it, but you're planting seeds all the time.
Yeah.
You know, just by you being yourself, and seeing and valuing yourself, your landscape, what's important. The more you do that, the more you'll see it everywhere.
Yeah.
Like to me, we're a human family. Um, and we're getting there. I know most people don't see it like that, but I do. We're getting there. Things are happening upon the earth where we're really beginning to see what is of value. And it's like that, knowing that, like, it goes back to the elements within and without, how we're in relationship with everything around us. Like what we're doing is affecting the seas, affecting the weather. I suppose I'm going to say to you, the world's been unconscious, but
Oh, yeah.
but like we're waking up to a consciousness, and that wheel of keeping us busy, right? So materialism and these big companies, and we've been kept busy. We've been kept on this, through social conditioning. We don't have a day of a week to ourselves. There's always something to do or somewhere to go.
Yeah.
But going back into nature, it's a holding space. So it opens up our consciousness again,
Yeah.
you know. And like, I suppose there's part of me that believes, okay, we have to pay our bills, we have to do. But we are ancient, intelligent beings. Yay, we are. It's in there somewhere. We know what's precious and what needs to be maintained.
Yeah.
I really believe that it's in there somewhere.
So perhaps instead of us taking up positions head to head over issues that we would patently disagree with others,
Well, it's important to
perhaps,
use your voice, to
yeah,
say
but
what you believe is important.
yeah, but perhaps sort of acknowledging, right, I'm never going to believe what you're saying. It's not how I think. It's not part of my creed, and you're never going to believe what I'm saying. And perhaps there's something there where, right, that's your position, that's my position. Now, can we find a commonality that we can agree on and go to work from there? Going forward, uh, most people in the world have children and grandchildren, and most people want to see their children and grandchildren thriving in life. Now, initially, it might mean, they'll have a bigger house than I will, or they'll have a bigger bank account because of my efforts. But it must dawn with most people, well, what's the point in any of that if the air we breathe is contaminated, the water we drink is poisonous? And so there is the commonality. And there's the possibility that we can get into conversation with people who don't have the same opinion as ourselves. That's just my thoughts on it. Let's, from your perspective, what gets lost in a conversation when people bring up wind developers, green jobs, or economic revival?
What
Gets lost in the conversation? Yeah, what's missing from that definition of progress, do you think?
It's the long-term effects, like what's the after effects of these material things? These companies just blank that, and you can't blank it. It's like the long term is everything.
Yeah.
What's behind us? Like, we're past, present, future. We're everything. We can't be in disconnect from what we leave behind us.
Yeah. I think there's not much more to be added to that. It's fairly clear, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we've come to our last two questions, and if you're familiar with the podcast, I ask everybody, if you can invite one person to be a future guest in this podcast, someone whose voice or perspective would add something valuable to the conversation about protecting the Sperrins, who would that be and why?
I would ask a lovely lady called Annie Mullen.
Oh yes, I know Annie, of course, yeah.
Tell
us a little bit more about her for our listeners.
Annie lives in the Sperrins. Like, I would call myself a blow-in to the Sperrins. Like, I am a lover of the Sperrins, and Annie has been raised in the Sperrins all of her life. And I interviewed Annie and yourself for the Sacred Rainbow Current. What do you call it? It's not a podcast, but a summit,
kind of a summit,
a global online summit that I put out into the world. And whenever both of you spoke, both of you brought to me like beautiful inner realizations of our connection to the Sperrins, but also she was very in tune with things that are going on to do with like battery storage and things that I didn't know of.
Mm-hmm.
So she'll bring a greater awareness to what's going on in the Sperrins. And like, this is the time for us to become very conscious beings again. We can't be sticking our head in the sand any longer, because this is the legacy. This is what is being left for the future generations. And I just love people of heart, and the more that we hear their voice, just bring it on.
That's great. That's a great recommendation, and I will have her. I will put her on my list. So I will. Thank you. And our last one. So, despite everything that's going on for the industrialization of the Sperrins, there's still, as you have so beautifully described, such beauty in the hills. And what keeps you hopeful? What vision do you hold for the Sperrins 20, 30, 50 years from now, if we get this right?
I'm hoping the Sperrins is basically like what it is now, which is relatively so wild, that its wildness is maintained, that its ruggedness, that it's like, it's the vibration held here, the way the sun and the elements come through is it's still here, it's rich, that everybody that comes upon this landscape and walks on it feels that. So really maintaining what we have. Like, to me, nothing needs to change. It needs to be preserved, maintained, respected. And if I have a vision, the vision would be like just that love relationship between the communities and the Sperrins, that pride of, look what we have here, our piece of the world that we can share with you.
Kerry, thank you for speaking so openly, for sharing in such a moving way. Thank you for your love of the High Sperrins and indeed the whole of the Sperrins. Thank you for the healing that you're bringing to the land and its people. Thank you for being on this podcast today.
Thank you, Mirella. Thanks for inviting me. Thank you.
It's been my pleasure. That was Kerry McCrory speaking so movingly from the very beating heart of the Sperrins, where healing and resistance walk hand in hand. And her story reminds us that the environmental defence isn't about stopping a gold mine or opposing a wind farm. It's about remembering our deep relationship with the earth. If you'd like to find out more about Kerry's work, you can visit her website, which will be in the show notes, or follow her Facebook page, the Coneyglen, that she spoke about in the podcast. And as always, for the air we breathe, the water we drink, and the earth we grow from, together we hold the line. You've been listening to the Save Our Sperrins podcast, Voices from the Frontline. Thank you for joining us today. All the links you'll need, from campaign updates to our social media pages, as well as links shared by today's guests and resources mentioned in the conversation, are available in the show notes. Please take a moment to share this podcast with friends, neighbours, or anyone who cares about protecting our land and communities. And don't forget to hit the follow button on your podcast platform. It really helps the algorithm spread these voices further. Together, our voices are stronger. Thanks for listening, and until next time, keep standing with the land, the water, the air, and the people who protect them.